Welcome back to Games Done Quick, everybody, for another Showrunner Showcase. This is the warm roast beef and brie sandwich edition. We're here trying to bring you some fun games. Richard, you want to tell us what's going on at Games Done Quick?
Yeah, so today on the Showrunner Showcase, Cheesecake is the Best Pie edition, we have a couple upcoming things. Actually, recently today, the offsite volunteer applications are now open for AGDQ 2020. You can find out more information on gamesdonequick.com if you want to apply to that. And then a couple shows that we have coming up today. So today we're actually running Azure Striker Gunvolt 2, as you can see here, as well as Bubsy and Ori. Tomorrow we have Bubsy and Ori on Club Cozy for Tree Fort. Frame Fatales is going to be having game submissions starting on December 15th. So be sure to check out gamesdonequick.com/hotfix for more information on that. And then Monday we have Hollow Knight on Community Spotlight. That'll be a bunch of different Hollow Knight categories, actually. So if you're interested in that game, feel free to check that out. And for next Thursday, for the first step, we're going to have Kizaron versus J Hobbs playing Cat Quest 2, semi-blind racing each other. So be sure to check any of that stuff out if you're interested. And also, as a reminder to everyone, these Hotfix broadcasts are brought together from viewers like you. Your subscriptions, cheers, ad watching, all help the channel out. Even just following and sharing the stream, that helps out as well. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll give it to Tina to start the run.
All right. Hello, everyone. This is going to be Azure Striker Gunvolt 2. Welcome, everybody, to the All of Us Derusted Just Last Night edition of the Showrunner Showcase. So there's a lot of story in this game, and I'm going to leave it kind of light on explaining exactly what's going on. There's a lot of text that's going to be on screen that you are going to get a chance to read. And I'm going to just kind of let you soak it in. It's real good. This game is very, very anime. But if we are ready on time, I will get going.
Do I need to pull it up for time? All right.
All right. So I'm being told we are about to be good. And so 3, 2, 1, go. So the nice thing about this game, we've got most of our cutscenes are skippable, which is nice because there's a lot of them. So like that was a cutscene. And I am going to go ahead and...
Oh, do you have to change your controls like once
Oh,
the game
you
is
do.
started?
It's real great.
Oh, I love it. Oh, guess I gotta reset. I didn't set my controls fast enough.
So you're gonna start seeing some pretty obvious similarities, like, Mega Man games, things along those lines. And much like Mega Man games, your normal weapon is just worthless. But one of the neat things about this game is that you've got a regular weapon, this little pea shooter, that does auto-fire, but the real damage is done by by using this electric field that you see.
This game would pair really well in a show with Furbitten Planet, as sort of like a, we loved this game so much we made it anime edition.
Oh gosh, yeah. So that's Jewel. She's your girlfriend. She died in the first game, so now she's alive in your soul. I know how it sounds, and yeah.
No, you don't. You can't appreciate how ridiculous that sounds if you're hearing it for the 100th time. It's very special on the first time.
So one thing that might not be coming across is, unlike Mega Man X, you don't slide down walls slowly. You just kind of drop down them, but you do have a wall kick.
I love how the text goes up at like a 30.
There's extremely a lot happening in this game at all times.
Yeah, this game really goes at 1,000,000 miles a minute, which makes it fun to run. Oh, this is real great. I get control back. We're done.
It was nice of them to let you control your character for
so that you could
3 additional seconds.
so that you could walk to the end of the screen. So this was Gunvolt. This is the person we're going to be playing as. Which, you know, makes sense given that the game is named after him. So, you know, we're going to be playing as Gunvolt. So this is Copen. We're not going to be playing as him.
At all?
Well, except for right now.
Oh. So you
he's
get the
got this
option of who to play, and you just, for the purposes of the speedrun, the category is just playing always as Gunvolt?
Yep.
Gotcha.
There we go. So this being on Switch, I'm playing on a Pro controller, which is real good.
I didn't realize this got a Switch release.
Yeah. It used to be on only the 3DS, which
Right.
had horrendous load times.
Oh, the load times got better too.
Yes.
Very nice. Yeah, last I had seen of this game, it was only on 3DS, so I didn't think you had a 3DS capture.
I don't. Because those are very expensive.
Copen feels a lot like, can you fly in the right direction a lot?
Yep. The Copen run does end up being a bit quicker. It's easier to go fast with Copen, I find, but just in general, I find that Gunvolt tends to be a little bit more interesting. Copen has the sort of Mega Man-esque, like, you get powers as you beat people, and...
Oh, so Copen's abilities change when you beat bosses.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty
Which
cool.
is neat. It's neat. All right, so we're done with Copen. Also, he hates Gunvolt because, again, this looks like a video game, but actually I'm taking you all through an anime.
And that's fine. I'm interested to see what the next episode has.
So at the end of every level, you get all of these items that we're never going to use. But, you know, they make the game easier. Okay, so Jewel, which is your girlfriend, just got murdered. Well, double murdered, I guess, sort of. So she has been forcefully removed from your soul. She's been evicted. She was put into a mirror, and then the mirror was broken, which is bad. And so now the rest of the game is about, you know, getting back all of those pieces of a mirror. Here comes the hardest boss, by the way.
I never know if you're being serious.
That menu.
Wow.
That was tough.
If you wondered why there are so many Copen runs and not as many Gunvolt runs, I'm convinced that it's because people mash and then they screw up that menu. And they say, well, I guess I'm playing this now.
Did you practice that a lot when you were derusting last night?
You know, you say that, but haha, only serious. Yes, I absolutely did. a little bit about mechanics, especially now that I'm vulnerable. Below my character, you're going to see quite frequently this little semicircular bar. That is how much energy I have to either do damage to enemies with that electric field that I can use, or I have an ability called pre-evasion. It's like evasion, but it happens before the fact. And so I can just use that to kind of run through enemies, run through spikes, just anything that might hurt me. Psych, it doesn't hurt me because that's the rules. But when that bar is red, I'm vulnerable. Also, whenever I'm trying to do an attack, I'm vulnerable. So the game does have a pretty interesting interplay between do I attack and try and do damage, especially because there are levels in this game, you'll see. And I do need to get to at least level 12 during the run.
Is that for unlocking an ability or just being strong enough to fight a boss?
It is for unlocking an ability, which enables a bunch of quick kills.
Nice.
So I'm going to be doing my best to, as I run through, for enemies that I know that I can kill without losing any time, I'm going to be using my flash field.
So you do have it sort of worked out which enemies you're planning to kill.
Yes. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of text that happens at the bottom of the screen. You don't get a chance to read it while you're running the game, but I encourage the audience to just take it in. It's real good. So those are obviously the end of the level. I'm skipping that one to pick up an extra ability.
That pre-evasion seems really nice, like just being able to more or less run straight through certain
yeah, it's pretty fun. You get to kind of route out the level and figure out what you want to kill, what you don't want to kill, you know, just because trying to do so loses you time. All right, so this fight's real fun. So you'll notice that I'm going to be hitting enemies with my pea shooter as much as I can. Because it does do chip damage.
I love that during the whole fight, there's just like this anime dialogue happening on screen.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's real good.
I control metal. Iron is in the blood. Do the math. Are you just doing so much damage that this text is happening so quickly, or is it supposed to be?
Oh
like,
no, it's happening pretty
always
quick.
happening.
I mean, there's a lot of dialogue, but yeah, this is. Also, I think that I just realized. Flash field. Yep, we're good. Okay, cool. All right, so of all the bosses, this is the tankiest, and when she does her desperation attack Iron Maiden, she just gets super tanky. So this is just, it's real rough. This is. All right. Also, I'll call to attention the lower left-hand side of the screen. That is where you're going to notice the specials. Any blue special that I use on my top right menu, that takes up one or more of those cards. When I'm out of cards, I can't use skills. Orange skills I get to use whenever they're ready. So. And yeah, that's that level. We're going to be skipping around a little bit in terms of the levels, specifically so that we can get another one of those hidden skills. Skip some story there. Also, these loading screens are real good. Just, I want you to read those words out loud. And yeah, that's it. Just read them out loud.
Virtuality. A brave new digital world where reality is virtual and fact is fiction, all ruled by a fatally glitched set of protocols. Why?
Well, it looks like space itself has eroded, so, you know, maybe something about I don't know how space erodes.
It's probably ugly in there.
So in these virtual-ish looking bits, you can take advantage of some screen wraps, which means that you can, you know, not die, which is often good.
You know, I know you said that this was anime, but I wasn't prepared for how anime.
Yeah, it's very, very anime.
There's just so much.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
Is this game good? So we got a question in the chat that says, is this game good? You brought that question to the right place. As someone with a lot of experience here, I've seen 14 minutes of this game. I'd say yes.
I would actually say no. It's great, actually. I don't think it's just good.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Oh, there you go. I will say, this game, real fun if you like playing games fast. I enjoy this. So I'm going to finish this trap room before a really important, so that bit of text. It is safe to fall down that central pit if you need to.
Is it actually safe? Does it kill you?
Oh no, it's totally safe.
Oh, good. I feel overwhelmed by the extent to which this game is.
Yeah, I mean, this is
like, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just like,
it's all going
on
in this world.
It's all going on so much. The whole world? I doubt it. Like, you can completely shirk all commentary responsibilities by just
I know.
reading this dialogue. Like, it's just
really, really good.
Yeah, hashtag pull the plug is trending.
I don't understand what they were going for on these loading screens. They are so
Yeah, they are.
Whoever wrote those loading screens are big fans of themselves. So what would you say drew you to this game to speedrun it?
So I was actually asked to do commentary for this game at GDQ, and I said, well, I'm not going to do commentary for a game that I don't, know or run or, whatever. So I learned it. Believe it or not, it's really, really fun.
So what's that say about
just...
me and Auth?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm happy to do commentary for a game I've never played. I'm feeling so attacked right now.
No, don't worry, I grew out of it.
You can't learn every game, Tina.
I know. Honestly, that's one of my great personal failings, is an inability to learn every game.
I've tried. I assure you, my experience suggested it is not actually possible. Syllable's giving me, what is it, Crashman vibes? Like
yeah, there's a lot of that.
Trying to hit the right cycles and go fast enough to not get owned by it.
Alright, this section's actually pretty hard, so we'll see if I can get this. Alright, so these alarm rooms, I didn't mention it before. You're supposed to, kind of go and kill everybody in the room, but you only have to, strictly speaking, kill the alarm. There we go. That movement is actually very difficult.
Well, you're making it look easy. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, this game must be really easy.
Oh yeah, this dialogue's real good. Hang in there, my lackey friend.
I just imagine that line being read with a really thick but really bad British accent.
Oh yeah, that would be
like Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah.
Know?
So a lot of this, all of the bosses have their health kind of divided into thirds. A lot of this fight is setting up for a quick kill in the third section, just because.
I have to ask, are these lines that are on screen being voiced?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I don't have audio on right now, so I assumed the answer is no.
Ah, well, I've got good news for you.
I'm glad to hear it, because I was just thinking to myself how interesting the choice was to devote 20% of the screen to text that you could not read at that moment.
Yeah. Alright, so timing was a little bit off for the quick kill. Obviously not a huge deal. This is about 30 seconds. You don't want him to finish the Aqua Avatar attack, because after a certain point you just can't hurt him anymore.
Oh, they're fully voiced in Japanese? Are they not fully voiced in English? Can you not, like, listen to the lines in English?
I've never looked. By default, it's Japanese.
Gotcha.
That's good enough for me.
Sure. Just I'm marveling at the design choice there. If I can't understand it, I'm not going to be able to read. Sorry, I'm getting hammered by a boss. Oh,
so
that's really
ice
cool.
does some really cool stuff to your momentum in this level. Now, you're probably thinking, that looks like it's really tough to control. Yes. Oh. And a lot of these cycles are just super tight to actually reach.
That's really cool, just that the running down the ice makes you go way fast.
Alright, so this is our good old friend Copen. You remember him.
Did you always shoot your friends?
Not always.
Just leaving it as an option on the table, got it. So what is their relationship in this game?
So Copen was a mini-boss in the first game. So there are humans, obviously. And then there are humans that have, I'm going to call it magic. The game calls it Septima, obviously. And they're called adepts. And Copen sure doesn't like adepts.
Is Gunvolt an adept?
Yes, hence the electric magic.
Right.
I'm sorry, Septima.
Yes, please. We're not children. There's no such thing as magic. Instead, we can explain this with very complicated world building.
That's right.
It's a really satisfying run to watch. It feels like it's probably a really challenging run to learn to play well.
Yeah, it's not the easiest, but oh, also it might not be obvious, but all of these abilities that I'm activating, you activate them by moving your right analog stick and then pressing your right analog stick in. So,
like pressing in while the analog stick is held the direction?
Yeah, it's real good.
That's uncomfortable.
So in this phase, I'm going to be willing to tank a fair amount of damage. I just want to dish out as much damage as I can without using special attacks because I need them to skip an extremely slow and there we go. Cool. So, yeah, Frigid Blossom is really, really slow if it gets going. And I don't like that, so I'll avoid it. All right, so coming up is another one of those loading screens with some real good text. So the Azure Dragon and the White Tiger are going to match Fang and Claw. The Azure Dragon, obviously Gunvolt. So think about who you might suspect the White Tiger is going to be. Obviously, it's somebody that we've met before. Otherwise, they would not be matching Fang and Claw again. It's this guy.
Oh. Do I know this guy?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Does Gunvolt know this guy?
Nope.
Sorry, I just saw the word casseroles pop on screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, is this guy just rhyming?
Do you actually
Yeah,
understand
so
what the guy
he's-
says? No.
He's a rapper. And I will say, in his third phase, he has the best attack name in the entire game.
I'm excited. Will I see it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Does it show up in big letters across the screen?
Yes, it does. It gets its own, like, anime cutscene thing, whatever you
Heaven's
call
for
those.
the best. Screw all the rest. Poetry slam. I mean, you delivered on the promise. It was a very good name.
There we go. Cool. So that's one of the slowest bosses to fight, largely because he's willing to do, if you get unlucky, 3 poetry slams in a row. I mean, the entire fight was also a poetry slam, but you know what I mean.
I think what makes this feel so weird is that typically I feel like in a speedrun, it's fine that we're not following along with the story because who cares? But the game, while you're playing it, keeps trying to thrust the story into your face, and I'm like, okay, but I'm not understanding any of it.
Yeah, I mean, so there's stuff going on. That's all that we really need to know, right?
I can do the magic, and I'm going to beat up some guys.
That's right.
That's the purest experience.
All right. I hope that everybody's ready for some anime because there is a lot of anime coming up soon.
More than what we've seen.
Yeah, after this boss, I think before the next boss, there's going to be, well, I don't want to spoil it, but it's good.
She seems nice. She's like a wasp or something.
Yeah, it's good.
It's hard to tell visually, probably because it's all happening quite quickly, but is this game allow you to be somewhat tanky, or are you just really good at using prevasion to avoid taking damage from attacks?
No, you take pretty bad damage when you take hits. Like, pretty much the smallest hit that you're likely to take is about 10% of your health, and that's a small one.
Gotcha.
So we're coming up on another cycle that I super duper want to skip. There we go. If you get caught by those hands, it's not good. So a little bit of background information. There are 7 main enemies that you're supposed to be hunting down and fighting because the group is called the 7. The way that they structured this game is really interesting, putting 4 of them in front of your faces and then the rest of them kind of in these sort of gauntlet levels. It breaks the mold that you expect from a Mega Man-like game, and I think it makes it really interesting, especially your first time through. All right, it's time for anime.
I'm so excited for anime.
So the moment that I take 3 hits in a row, prevasion hits count, I lose the music, and we don't want to have that happen.
Can't stand for that.
That's right.
This dialogue is so dramatic.
It's, yeah. Hey, there's that ability that I really wanted to unlock. Just in time.
Oh, did you need it now?
Not this fight, but there's a fight that comes that's scripted afterwards.
Gotcha.
All right, anime time's done.
Please tell me this is like one of the easier bosses.
If you know what's going on, yeah, it's not too bad.
Okay, because I just love that the boss said we form an unbeatable pairing, and I just want that. I want karma to pay out with this actually being one of the easier bosses.
Well, so a little bit of video game flavor here. I should point out. They're like gourmets. That's their deal.
Mm-hmm.
They like good food.
Gotcha.
So it's an unbeatable pairing. You see.
Now I understand. And his attack's named a Moose Boosh.
Yeah, no, it's real good. It's super strong.
I'm having such a great time. This is the most anime thing possible.
Okay, it's been fun, but like, let me kill you now. Thank you. So this is the start of a pattern that you're going to notice in bosses where I want to use Luxcalibur, which is just a real good name, towards the end of their second phase.
And it just does all of the damage.
It does so much damage, and it goes past the end of a cycle, which is real nice.
You did it.
You did it. Level clear. Okay, so here Zonda is introduced, which, I mean, technically Zonda shows up in a cutscene, but Zonda is supposed to be dead. You killed Zonda in Gunvolt 1. Surprise? Not dead.
That's very anime.
Yeah. I was only pretending to be dead.
You thought I was dead, but surprise, it was me, Dia.
So, this is, you know, the refight section. Not what I wanted to do.
Do you find that since your abilities are tied to like tilting an analog stick and pressing it in, that you sometimes use the wrong ability?
Oh gosh, yes.
It feels like that's a very imprecise medium.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where they wanted to have a gated stick, and that would be perfect.
Right.
So once again, skipping Frigid Blossom is super important. So this is great. So when you hit 1,000 points, Jewel shows up and she cheers you on, and it's real great. So I just got 1,000 points. And with his dying breath, Jewel is gonna cheer me on. Also, unskippable cutscene, real good. Alright, but as expected, this is kind of the refight scene, you know, because it's a Mega Man game. We're going to be doing a lot of the same. This is the only fight where you're going to see me using the Luxcalibur trick towards the end of the second phase.
All the movement in this game and the abilities you get and stuff feels like it would lend itself really well to a more Metroidvania style rather than Mega Man style.
Yeah, and that's doubly true in the Cope and Run, honestly.
Right.
Here I'm watching HP, because there we go.
You came all the way to my actual house for this, for reals. Oh my goodness. This boss is so incredibly online.
Yeah, it's very strong.
I can't process this dialogue.
Honestly, I'm just glad that everybody else is able to read all this dialogue because, I mean, obviously when you're running you can't, and it's so it's so the dialogue in this game.
That's a perfect description.
It is so exactly what it is.
In case anybody was wondering, I'm playing on Switch.
Thanks for showing us your Switch menu.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that I feel it's just...
It's an RNG manipulation for the boss.
Yeah, totally. That's definitely what just happened.
So is this just a refight of all the bosses?
Only the first 4, thankfully.
Okay. I was starting to get that sinking feeling.
Alright, so this time, hopefully we get the skip. Because when it happens, it looks real cool. There we go.
Nice.
Getting that Astrosphere off in time is real tough.
Sniped.
Okay, so finally we have all the mirror pieces back, and it's time to fight Zonda. Zonda has a male form and a female form. The male form is really annoying. The female form is worse. So they'll be changing over back and forth a bunch. And now maybe the strongest line of dialogue in the entire game. We've gone through and fought entire buildings worth of people, but now we might be walking into a trap.
Careful.
Now is the time for caution. Okay, so super anime plot update. So that's Jewel, but also another character in this game called Middle, I think is how it's pronounced. Who, shocker, turns out she's the same person, but they were split apart for reasons, plot reasons, like you do. But now they're together again, and also they are angry and their attacks hurt very bad. Okay, so in the 3DS game, this is supposed to be a scripted death, and the DS, of course, has a microphone. So the 3DS game makes you sing the game's theme song in order to resurrect yourself. I'm very happy to say that the Switch does not have a microphone, so
they just trust that you'll sing.
Yeah, which I definitely did. You all heard me. All right, time's coming up. And time. So this drops into another cutscene followed by credits, which will be a great place to let it sit while we get set up. Spoilers, this is the bad ending, because you have to play the game twice in a row in order to get the good ending. Obviously, dummy.
Yeah, this is a pretty good ending, though. Look at how anime this ending is.
Oh yeah, no, this is extremely anime, front to back.
Yeah.
Toe to tip, that's an anime.
So yeah, this has been fun. We did it. We got through the anime. We did a whole anime in, I don't know how long that took, but you know, in a number of minutes.
54:16 is what the timer says here.
54:16. That was legally an anime.
That's like 2 episodes right there.
That's right.
Yeah, if you beat the game in under an hour, you're legally a speedrunner.
Oh wow. I guess there's no question now.
I mean,
I'm legally a speedrunner. Yeah.
Author's giving you the stamp of approval.
There you go. All right, which one of you two's up next?
So, Author's up next.
Author's up next.
Bubsy.
Oh,
Playing
gosh.
the good boy. Playing the good boy.
So why do you have to follow up my game with something even better? This is just, it's going to make my game look extremely low quality. It's going to make it look like they just phoned the game in.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to bring the heat.
I think you're doing that.
I wanted to bring the best game I knew.
And while we get ready to go to break here, just want to remind everyone, so this is the Showrunner Showcase. What edition is it, Auth?
This is the Muffins Fan Club edition.
Oh,
That's true, yeah.
Okay. All right. And so we're going to be having Auth next. Just a couple of announcements before we go to a quick ad break. So again, Frame Fatales submissions start on December 15th, so next week.
Get those in. We want to see a lot of really cool runs.
January 14th. So check out gamesdonequick.com/hotfix for that. If you want to go to gamesdonequick.com, if anyone is going to be off-site for AGDQ 2020, volunteer submissions are open for that now, and you can go there for more info. There's going to be Bubsy not only next, but that will also be tomorrow on Club Cozy for Treefort at 3 p.m. And then, again, as we get ready for this ad break, get a drink of water, go stand up and stretch. But your ad views and your subscriptions and even everyone just being around and watching and talking about the stream helps us out here at Hotfix. So if anyone has Amazon Prime, maybe you have Twitch Prime. And if you have Twitch Prime, that means you have a sub every single month.
Don't forget you can link your account by going to, what is it? Is it amazon.com/Twitch? Or is it the other way around?
Maybe. I'm not sure which one it is, but you know who does know is Twitch. the Twitch fact will be able to tell you.
There you go.
Yeah. And so we're going to go to a short break here while we get Auth ready for his run.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Showrunner Showcase. This is the Too Hot for Twitch edition. We are back with Bubsy in 3D in Furbitten Planet. This is a game for the PlayStation, and I'm mostly just going to kick it off because there's only so much Bubsy some people can take, so I'm going to try to make it as little Bubsy as possible. I can actually start the timer myself, so I'll do that. And so I have no need to count myself in. I'm just gonna do it. A lot of this game is load screens, but the big tech in this game is just climbing walls. We're gonna try to get out of bounds as often as possible and as aggressively as possible. So now we're out into space. And rather than having to navigate obstacles, I can just go straight to the end of the level. Some of them are quite short because of this. Some of them, it's just an improvement, not necessarily just going straight to the end.
So on a scale from, let's say, Mario 64 to Mario Odyssey, like, how good is this game, would you say?
Well, I think the open world nature of it definitely puts it more in the Super Mario Odyssey camp. It's a very strong game. It is the only 3D Bubsy game, which makes it the best 3D Bubsy game.
Yeah, that's true. You can't really argue that, can you?
No. So a lot of this game is designed around you're supposed to find all the rocket pieces to reassemble Bubsy's spaceship. So if I skip the rocket pieces, most of the levels become a lot more straightforward. So let's. Oh, that little thing on the ground hurts you. Does that make sense?
All right, so I think that we've been, just some inside baseball for everybody in chat here. We've been trying to figure out which Showrunner Showcase this is. We've gone back and forth with some good ideas, but I think that definitively this is now the Never Been to Space Showrunner Showcase.
Y'all have never been to space?
Well, actually, space was eroding in your run, I remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I've never been there, but it was eroding. That's true.
Well, here it's lovely this time of year. So this game has a few really difficult levels, and one of the challenges to learning this game is that one of the hardest levels in the speedrun is this one, the third one. It's kind of a wall. There's a lot of kind of awkward platforming right here that you got to do. There we go. Yes, I derusted last night, but I also derusted very efficiently. I derusted at least a 6th grade level. Did my game just crash? That would be so incredibly branded. No, it didn't. Oh, wait, it just kicked me out of the game. Really?
Huh. Well, that's novel.
Well, hello and welcome everyone to the Showrunner Showcase Game Has Crashed edition. Here we have Authorblues running Bubsy 3D, maybe.
I've been playing this game for a really long time, and that's never happened before.
Don't. Oh.
I can't help. I can't not say that. Okay. All right. Well, we're just gonna go right back in. It was only the 3rd level, but boy, that sure was something. If it happens again, I'm just gonna put in the level code and pick up from where I left off. I've speedrun this game for, at this point, like 3 years now, and I've never had a level crash and then kick me back out to the title screen. It's always either taken the whole PlayStation down with it or gone on like nothing happened. Is it my disc? Because if so, I have 3 other discs of this game.
So where did you procure these 3 discs?
All of them from eBay. Okay, I'm going to really quickly swap discs because something's up right now that I don't understand.
So do you think that at this point you have procured the title of the world's biggest Bubsy 3D collector?
No. The person who helped me route this game has 12 copies of it.
Does the 3D stand for the 3 discs that you have of this?
Yeah, and then the 4th disc. Okay. Let's try this one instead. Well, it's not like he went out of his way to collect 12 discs of this game. He just bought a whole bunch of lots of PlayStation games off of eBay.
I guess that's how you make Bubsy 3D your brand, though, is you buy a bunch of lots that just coincidentally themselves have 2 or 3 discs each. And then all of a sudden you're the guy who owns 12 copies of Bubsy 3D. So obviously you're a Bubsy fan. And like at that point, your options are either own it or don't own it, but everybody's going to assume that it's true anyway. So
okay, I'm not gonna put the lives code in again. We're just gonna hope that we don't game over.
all right.
Another neat trick about this game is that if you play this on a PlayStation 2 with fast disk speed, if you game over and then you hit the continue option, the game just crashes as well. So this is perhaps the most cursed video game I've ever played. It's hard for me to say that definitively. I've played quite a lot of games, but I feel like it's likely this is the most cursed among them. Okay. It didn't crash that time. That's promising.
All right. I'm very excited for this speedrun now.
The title has changed to Game Has Crashed Edition. I wonder if it's because I left my PlayStation running during your Gunvolt run.
You know, I'm aware that when you were doing work on this game a couple of years ago, we discovered that there is very likely a memory leak in it, and it was causing worse load times over time. That causing the game to start just crashing and kicking you out, that wouldn't be the biggest surprise in the world.
I accidentally missed picking up the shooter at the beginning of the level, so we're gonna have to...
Welcome everybody to the Showrunner Showcase World Record Strat Edition.
Okay. I didn't go for the world record strat because I wasn't interested in taking my 10% chance of success. But I did another backup.
Welcome everybody to the World Record Adjacent Strat Edition.
World record approximate. All right, so my favorite thing about that was that I had probably my best ever level 3 I've ever played, and now I get to do it again, so...
Well, you're warmed up. This is good.
Is this the Showrunner Showcase derusted 5 minutes ago edition?
What was that now? The title screen just went away. All right, you know what? I'm absolutely just putting the level code and skipping level 3. I can't figure out what is going on right now, but it's okay.
I love this so much.
I know. Why is it that all the cursed things happen as soon as I play this at GDQ? I swear, I've been playing this like for the past, 12, 18 hours? Like, kind of straight. Which I guess speaks a lot to...
It speaks a lot to a lot. Let's be real.
Yeah, I know I'm a cheater. It's okay. I can live with myself. All right, I'm skipping level 3, and God willing,
I changed the category to any % no level 3, so it's fine.
But I beat level 3. You were there for it.
That's a different disc, though.
No, I was taking a drink of water, which is what I was instructed to do right before the break. So I didn't actually see level 3. You were a bit too fast.
What a nightmare. The game is literally falling apart underneath me. That's not the right loading screen. Okay. So because I've actually, according to the save file, already beat all the levels, I'm not going to get the ending title cards for any of the levels, probably. So my time in this is going to end up being meaningless, but goodness, at this point, I think I'll be satisfied with it just, like, letting me play to completion.
Is this a New Game Plus, then? If you've
yeah, I guess it's New Game Plus.
Wow. All right, I'll change.
Welcome, friends. I hope that you're all having a fantastic evening. This is the Showrunner Showcase New Game Plus edition.
I can't believe my friends are having fun at my expense.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can. Oh, that time I got a title card. I don't. My whole PS2 is cursed right now. There are ghosts inside my PlayStation. I told you this game was
Bubsy's
anime.
loading his gun and getting back in the spaceship. Game's haunted.
Why are you back so early? Game's haunted. I just wanted a normal Bubsy 3D run, you know? No funny business.
Okay, there's a lot in that statement, and I don't know that we have enough time to unpack it fully, but help me explore what is a normal Bubsy 3D run. Because I've seen 6 minutes plus 2 other resets worth of Bubsy 3D, and I'm not sure I understand.
Tina, today's a rough day for me. I could really use you being here for me right now.
I'm cheering you on.
I'm sorry. There should be. This is the place where commentary would go if it were appropriate for the setting.
To answer a question in chat, yes, Auth is laughing or crying.
The water levels are a little weird. You have an air meter at the bottom, which you can get more of by touching the air tanks. The only way to attack underwater is to dash with the oh, I've lost my bearings. This is a great level to lose your bearings in, by the way. You can attack by hitting the dash button, but it consumes a lot of your air, and if you run out of air, you just die instantly. So
I guess we should just, for the 3 people that haven't played the wonderful franchise that is Bubsy, things killing you is definitely expected. Just in Bubsy, you die. That's the game.
yeah.
So we're joking around a lot, but I do just want to point out that Authorblues not dying, irrespective of whether or not he's gone out of bounds, is extremely impressive.
Would you find it better? Would you be more impressed if I stayed inbounds for a whole level?
No.
Okay, because I'm gonna stay in bounds for this level, just to
Oh,
spite you.
well then yes.
Doesn't count, never went out of bounds. I did go over a wall you're not supposed to be able to go over, but did it all while staying in bounds.
I
know,
is
yeah, there's
above that wall, is that in bounds?
I don't
Is
think our
this the right
scientists...
time for
I
the
don't-
ontological debate of what in bounds means?
I don't think our scientists have really touched on these difficult questions of our age.
It's within the bounds of the screen, so that's good enough.
I'm just doing
Welcome
my
back,
best.
everybody, to the Showrunner Showcase, only in bounds edition.
I'm just doing my best. Every time I complete a level, I think to myself, hey, please don't crash this time.
Yeah, I'm actually a lot more nervous watching this speedrun than I normally feel. There's some real scary moments, mostly when the screen is dark for more than half a second.
Yeah, my normal feeling of existential dread playing this game has been replaced with just like abject fear.
What's the emotion that you normally feel playing this game?
Existential dread.
Okay, yeah, I can see how those are only slightly different, but different nonetheless.
There's a nuance, okay?
Yeah.
This is the Showrunner Showcase incidentally horror game themed edition.
Oh, that's so really good question in chat, which is how frequently does the game crash? The answer to that is very infrequently, except today.
Well, the answer is yes.
I just
Also valid, yeah.
So this level's actually extraordinarily long. Even going out of bounds, it takes longer than most levels do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just running down this bit of geometry, I'm gonna call it, is very, very it's long. It takes a while.
Okay, I fell back in bounds, but it's okay. I can still get up to the ending platform by just doing just a little sneaky wall climb. It's okay.
So speaking of, one thing that is really interesting that I've been lucky enough to hear you talk about, but just the speed tech in this game, it is extremely interesting. So wall climbing, that's a great place to start. Tell us about wall climbing. Tell us how you go up these things that typically, well, I guess cats are often able to climb walls, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, if you touch one of those slopes, it usually instantly makes you fall. But if you get the type of jump that makes you do a little flip, Bubsy will have like a few frames where he like plants his feet on the ground, and you can actually jump out of that if you're quick and get the timing right. So it opens the door for wall climbing. The easiest way to do it is to jump while you're rotating the camera. Since this game has tank controls, you just rotate the camera while you initiate a jump. This boss fight is kind of weird. Hitting the boss doesn't actually do anything. What you have to do is you have to get him to fall in the acid outside the level. And in order to do that, he has to break through the laser barriers. So every time I hit him, someone in the audience will throw a banana to a more or less random location on screen. And I have to get him to run into the same piece of laser fence 3 times. It was actually a really smooth boss fight. They often go off the rails completely.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I've seen a lot of resets across all of the mini speedrunners who run this game on this fight.
So that's the there's only 3 boss fights in this game. We've done 2 of them now, and then we have the final boss, but we have a long stretch of fairly difficult levels at this point. So you're talking about speed tech. So wall climbing's one of the big ones. There's one trick that only has one spot in the run. I'll mention it when we get to it. The last little bit is there's actually a sort of weird bit of unintended technique you can do in this game, where if you do a regular jump and then switch to holding the glide button in midair, you'll get the height of a normal jump, but you'll get to glide out of it. And so I refer to that as a long glide. And it's not intended for you to be able to do that. That's a tough spot. It's not intended for you to be able to do that. And so there are some gaps that you can make that were never really, I guess, tested or expected you'd be able to do it. So this is a new route for this level I came up with yesterday. This game's still alive, baby.
Another good question in chat. Maybe you can help shed some light on this one. So, pilot's license, what for?
I don't know. I haven't found it particularly useful. No one ever checks it. Hey, please don't crash. That's a really long black screen I'm getting. You can't legally do that to me again, can you? All right, well, I'll put in the level code and move on to the next one. I'll still come in underestimate. Test me.
So welcome back, everyone, to the Showrunner Showcase, technically underestimate edition.
Technically, or typically, I would just have a memory card with the saves, but I lost all my PlayStation memory cards. So here we are. That's not correct. I'm about to put in the wrong password and have to put the whole password in again. That'd be shameful. I just did Zot's nice, so we're moving on to Days of Thunder. This game very much wants me to not finish. Not even just right now, just in general. Yeah, this game's still in early access. I'm hoping for a full release within the next year.
Honestly, I think that it's a really bold move of somebody making an early access game like this nowadays to issue all texturing, just period.
So this level has sort of a weird design decision. The premise behind this level is that these cars sort of take you from spot to spot, but if I fall back down to the ground, there's no way for me to really get back up to where I was. I basically have to start the whole process from scratch if I ever fall down. So, really innovative gameplay, harder than Dark Souls. I crouch while I'm in the cars because it angles the camera down, which has a number of different benefits. While I'm crouched, I don't take damage. I also get a better sense of where I'm going to land if I jump, and also loading less geometry makes the game run a little faster, so that's nice too. Did this inspire getting over it? Yeah, in a sense. I didn't hear anyone say specifically that this was an inspiration, but I think this set the wheels in motion for style of gameplay centered around.
Well, just watching the wall climbing, I feel like it's pretty clear that this was definitely maybe not the direct prequel, but maybe one or two games removed from getting
over the walls, so
it's pretty clear, I think. Yeah.
This is the last bit of speed tech. These fans push you up into the air. If you do it directly underneath a platform, the game continues adding to your speed while not allowing you to go up any higher. and so I can use that to build up a lot of speed to take me into a parallel universe. There we go. Now I'm very high in the air, and I can fly way further than I otherwise should be able to. Don't overshoot.
You know, when the screen went black for a moment.
No, that was one spot where I was okay with the screen going black. There we go. So we're entering the final gauntlet of levels. The last remaining levels are really, really challenging, actually. They were the main reason why when I first loaded the game up, I went ahead and put in the 99 lives code, and that's because there's a better than average chance I could game over on any one level. You know, if I get into a rough patch. It's not actually going to happen, but you know, better safe than sorry. Of course, now no training wheels. There's actually only one level where it's realistically a problem, but so this path is unintended. You aren't supposed to be able to get over some of these gaps, but the long glide makes it possible. And this actually routed out like 75% level. We're at the end already. I skipped some things that ought not to have been skipped.
Is that good?
Well, we're playing less Bubsy 3D, right?
Okay, so same question again.
I don't know. When I look, Tina, you put me in a tough position here because when I say nice things about Bubsy 3D, it hurts my reputation.
Does it? I feel like that's pretty in line with your reputation, honestly. This is now the Showrunner Showcase Off Defends Bubsy 3D edition.
Look, Bubsy 3D is not a... Okay, I'm dead. So this is the Bubsy game. If you walk off the edge of a platform at any point, the game just, instead of giving you an opportunity to save yourself, which you probably would be able to at any point, the game thinks it would be really cute to play a little animation of Bubsy dying in Looney Tunes fashion, and so does not give you the opportunity to save yourself. So basically what I'm saying is if I ever walk off of any platform rather than jumping, the game just instantly kills me, which is, I think, cool. Little sequence break here by hopefully shooting a switch. Nice, got it. It's outside of draw distance, so I'm shooting a little bit blind there. Okay, I can skip some platforming if I do a long glide, which gets me a little more height than usual. Now I get to ride on this little bug who will carry me across the water, which would have otherwise killed me. A lot of the challenge of these levels is being circumvented by being able to climb slopes like that. Not that there's no challenge remaining at that point, but it's definitely mitigated a lot. I actually think I'm going to come down here and pick up the 3 up. It's a heck of a lot of lives for someone who is currently worried about lives. But at what cost?
I'm glad that you got that 2 up.
You mean the 1 up?
I'm glad that you got that 1 up.
It's okay. That's Bubsy. Also, if any of these guys shoot me while I'm in midair, the game will just assume that there's no way I could have landed on a platform. Even if I'm directly over a platform, the game will just say, well, you probably wouldn't have lived anyway, so... It just kills me instantly.
I see some people in chat talking about the really innovative soundtrack. What do you think the best feature of the soundtrack of this game is?
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. It's good. I mean, if you ever need like a metronome, it's constantly running. All right, the next to last level. This one has a few really stupid tricks in it, so of course I'm going to go for them. I really wish I still had the 99 lives code in, because there's a few really dumb tricks I want to go for at no cost to myself. But now they're very much at cost to myself, you know? So this level's a little bit challenging. It's mostly just like car rides between small challenges. It's... I don't know, this whole game is more difficult to control than it probably looks. I don't know how hard it looks.
It doesn't look easy.
Because it's tank controls, it costs more to turn than it does to just jump repeatedly, so I let the cars turn me as often as possible. Long glide, so I can skip all that platforming right there, which is kind of nonsense. All right, I'm gonna go for a new trick I just discovered this morning. You're getting it fresh off the presses. I may get it. Well, not quite. It's like a 12-second time save if you get it. Did the game really just crash on a death for me? God, would that not just be the brand? Is there like a crash handler that just always kicks it back out to the title screen or something? Is that a thing?
I mean, yeah, there's a great article about how that's why you can punch your, what is it, Sonic 3D cart, and that will take you to a level select.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, just catch everything and always, reinitialize memory and dump you on the level select, and hey, you found the secret.
I want to be on the record real quick as saying that this is not the typical Bubsy 3D experience. This game has some real serious problems. This is not one of them. How am I still going to finish Underestimate?
Well, you've got 9 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah, no kidding. I just saw the title, Off Defends Bubsy 3D Edition. All right. I see how it is. I have to remember the alphabet too, which is, I think, the harder part of putting in this password. I have the whole thing memorized, but then you're asking me, like, know the alphabet? Excuse me? Will this ever be finished edition? I love that because that serves sort of two purposes, asking it that way. It's like, first, of course, you want it to be over. And second, there's a very real possibility that the game just will not permit this to happen. I've never had this much practice putting in the level code before, so I think that's pretty cool.
I think that it's good that you can show everybody who's watching right now what practicing for any % level codes looks like.
You know, in a speedrun, this level is a nightmare, and it's just wild to me that it's been a nightmare for a completely different but still a nightmare reason. Alright, well, I'm not going to go for the stupid trick, because I can't trust myself to be able to continue out of a death. All right, we're going on to the final level. Everything. I mean, okay, I don't want to jinx it or anything, but so I won't talk.
Smart.
I was. Let me see if it lets me into the level before I say anything. Okay. So this is the last load screen. So as long as it lets me through that load screen, we should be home free. All I have to do is not die, which is honestly so easy. All right, so here's a little mini boss. You have to kill him for this door to go away. So I'll just jump over it. He's angry too. He's a mad boy.
Do you think that he's less mad now that you've jumped over his door?
Probably less mad than he would have been if I had killed him. I don't know. I guess at
I'm not sure that's true. For I think a really obvious reason.
Yeah. Okay, so there's these tiny little woolies running around here in this area. It's actually one of my favorite areas in the game because there's like 6 of these little tiny woolies running around, and they're actually faster than you are, which means that you're just going to like take so many hits.
Is their movement random, or are they tracking you?
Oh, they're tracking you, and they're faster.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's real good.
All right, so this is the final boss. It's two woolies named Polly and Esther.
What do you think that means?
But their names are Polly and Esther.
Fair.
Their shots are just really difficult to predict, and since the only way to be able to do like consistent damage is to actually not face them, but instead, or rather than like facing the direction you want to go, you need to face toward the inner. So like you see, I'm jumping backwards towards the weapon so that I'm already facing in the right direction. The reason for that is because when you grab one of these atoms to shoot them, you have a very limited amount of time before they just blow up in your own hands. So you really don't have enough time to like turn around. Okay, that's the other one. Time's coming up in just a second. And time.
I've got real good news for you about your estimate and the time that you just put in.
Yeah?
Yeah. You know how you were saying that you weren't going to come in under estimate?
Right.
Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Oh.
You were so wrong. It was a 3149 with a 35-minute estimate.
And I only had to restart the game like 5 times.
Yeah, only like 17 crashes. This was a very, very good speed run.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, that was still like 4 minutes off the world record. So it was still a pretty good run, all told. Hey, that run was wild and janky, and it was falling apart around me, and I appreciate so much for everyone being here for it. I'm sorry.
You don't need to be sorry for that great showcase.
Oh no, I think that this is now the Showrunner Showcase We're Sorry edition.
All right, so now that Auth has finished his Bubsy 3D run, there's one more run left today. It's going to be some person named ogNdrahciR playing Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's such a good run.
While we get ready for the break screen, just a couple announcements. So we have, again, we have Frame Fatale's submissions opening December 15th. That'll last till January 14th. Go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix for more information on that. AGDQ 2020 is coming up, and if you are unable to make the event, offsite volunteer submissions are now open for the next week. you can just go to gamesdonequick.com for sign up info on that. And then we're going to get ready to go to a break here. So we're going to have a short ad break. We really appreciate everyone watching these ads or subscribing or having your computer on, taking a drink of water while you have the ads run. It really helps out the channel. So, if anyone has Twitch Prime, feel free to use your Twitch Prime sub or, spread the word about the runs that are going on here. We try to have a bunch of different recurring shows on Hotfix, like the one tomorrow, which is going to be Tree Fort. It's going to be Club Cozy, where, if you liked Bubsy today, we're going to have Bubsy tomorrow. So go check that out. And then on Monday, we're going to have Hollow Knight for the Community Spotlight. And next Thursday, we're going to be having a semi-blind race of Cat Quest 2 on the first step on Thursday. We'll go to a quick break, and we'll see everyone on the other side. Hello and welcome, everyone, to the Showrunner Showcase last run of the day edition. Here we have Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition. I'm going to be running the 0 XP category, and joined with me is actually the world record holder of this category, Sarah Barron. How are you doing, Barron?
I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to seeing how many tricks you can do and how few times you can keep Ori on the up and up.
All right. So I'm just going to do a countdown here, and then we'll kind of go into explanation from there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is the 0 XP category run. While I kind of just go through the beginning of the game here, Baron, do you want to explain what this category is?
Absolutely. So, Ori is a game. We're going to be going through the forest, collecting power-ups. It's quite like a Metroidvania, where we start out with not much mobility, and by the end we're going to be able to zip all over the place and do quite a bunch of things. But this category is 0 XP. It does not let us do quite a bit of those things because we're not going to be able to level up at all. We're banned from picking up any health. We're going to pick up this one energy that Richard just got over, and that's all the energy we get for the run. Any experience you see, that Rhino's going to drop some orange orbs. We're going to run away from those real quick. We're not allowed to pick up any of those. And there are some ability cells you'll see around the world, maybe. We have to dodge those as well. So we're going to be stuck at just a measly 3 life and a single energy. And Richard can tell you about how energy works.
Yeah, so energy allows us to save in this category. And that's pretty much the one thing that it's going to be used for. In this category. So there's going to be some movement here where we're going to have to avoid experience. And, with this game, especially at the beginning of the game, it tries to give you experience really, really often.
Yeah, that flower pad's a big offender. The XP does come out a little bit randomly, so you're never sure what pattern you're going to get. And for that jump pad we just went through, you just can't tell what's going to happen. Those brambles that we just went through, same thing. They do drop XP as well, but we're using a trick called Respawn Invulnerability to walk through them. You can also use a damage boost, which gives us the same type of invulnerability, but they do 2 damage, and we only had 2 life, so we had to go for the Respawn instead on that one. We're just hopping through the forest. We're pink right now. Richard used a color code to change Ori's default color from white. It gets a little more colorful that way.
Yep, I'm going to get this energy here for safety, and then I'm going to kill this enemy, and just be very wary of this XP.
Yeah, so sometimes the XP really gets in your way. XP takes about 10 seconds to disappear from the world. And sometimes, if luck has it, you just have to wait there for it. There's not really a better solution. Like Richard said earlier, we only have one energy, and it takes one energy to save. So a lot of the challenge is going to be making sure that you do not run out of energy in a place you need it. I picked up an XP there, so we're going to have to take a death, and that's one of the painful ways to lose time. Because you go back to your last save, and just talking about it, sometimes you don't get a lot of opportunities to put saves down.
Yeah, with having one energy in this category, it is quite punishing if you die and you haven't saved recently.
I can totally count times where I've lost upwards of a minute and a half just because I took an accidental hit. It's okay, you get to go back through the elbow again, have a good time.
We're just gonna look at this wonderful XP. I'm gonna get this keystone on the way out, actually.
Okay. We're just relaxing a little bit.
Yeah.
So here we've got our second bramble wall. We're gonna go right through it. Head down to the first skill tree of the game. Oh dear.
Sometimes you get XP, maybe not cooperating with you. I'm just going to jump in between them.
Yeah. So the beginning is absolutely the hardest section of the game. We don't have much mobility-wise. We're stuck with just jumping. We're about to pick up an ability called Wall Jump. That'll let us escape here by jumping on walls. Surprise, surprise. But it doesn't really add to getting around any quicker. So XP is still kind of a problem that we have to avoid. Luckily, it really only drops when you kill an enemy or destroy an obstacle, and we have ways to get around them. Here we have a
By
vertical.
the way, that there, another intentional death. You take some intentional deaths in this run, because when you respawn, you're invulnerable for a little bit. So it's just a little bit faster than having to destroy those and risk getting that XP.
Yeah, just like at the first bramble wall. That one was vertical instead of a horizontal walk. There's just enough time with the invulnerability to get through it.
Yep. And then as we go up here, taking another intentional death.
Yeah, we can walk on spikes. That's fair. We've already seen a game today where we could walk on spikes, so we're copying that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. And I'm gonna go grab this other keystone here. I wonder if I can I phase drop? Nope.
Yeah, another way to despawn the experience would be to save and reload.
So now that we have the second keystone, we're going to enter the other part of Sunken Glades, maybe, if we can get past this.
You definitely have to watch out for the last obstacle. It can be really stressful when it just decides to hit you and reset your progress. In we go.
Yeah, this section's pretty straightforward. You're just jumping over these.
Yeah, Ori and the Blind Forest really tries to teach you as you go through each ability that you obtain. So this one is focused on wall jump. We have to climb a little bit of a vertical area here while dodging some obstacles.
Yep. Also, something that I didn't mention earlier. So there are these things called spirit wells. Right when I started this run, I actually took a damage boost through a wall to activate a spirit well. It allows us to teleport to different areas in the game. And here's another one. So we're actually going to use the second one to teleport back to the first one so that we can get a skill that'll be useful for me to go a little bit faster in this game.
Yeah, teleporting was added in the definitive edition, so it doesn't make sense not to use it.
Yep, and so this is one of the more, I guess you can call it calmer categories of Ori, where you can't really skip cutscenes like you can in the other categories. There are some tricks that you could use with the ability menu to be able to save and skip cutscenes, but can't really do that here. Again, because this tree is just going to remain empty for the whole duration of the run. So here we're going to go into one of the areas of the definitive edition that was added, Blackroot Burrows. The skill that's in here is Dash. So we're just going to be going up to this cutscene, and then we're going to be going into the Dash area.
Yep, EXP is definitely bad. We're doing our best to avoid all of it that we can. Quick little cutscene here, showing off our friend Naru and somebody else. But we don't get any of the text out of the cutscene. We actually turn off our UI, the graphical interface, when we can. That allows us to skip text boxes, which is most of the cutscenes in the game.
Yep, I took a hit here.
That's some dangerous XP.
Yeah, so reloading the game, as Baron mentioned earlier, gets rid of the XP, so we're going to do that. So with that orb, I just picked it up and dropped it, so you can actually go back here instead of having to go through like a top area once you get that. And then the orb will come to where sign is, which is your little circular hovery thing that follows you around.
I have to say, nicely done avoiding those slime shots from the ceiling. That guy's very often hit me.
Yep, and there's going to be another one up here as well that I'm going to avoid as I climb through these platforms. And I'm going to drop the orb on the platform a couple times. This does absolutely nothing, but I like doing it.
So a little bit of info, Hungry, about skills and abilities. Skills are the things that we're going to get from each tree in the world. They will hold new skills for us to use. And abilities, there's a menu whenever you put down a save or go to a well. You can pull up that menu and it has sort of a list of useful powers or abilities. And we will never get any experience to unlock any of those. But we are able to go to each tree throughout the world and unlock those skills. We're going through our last little dark puzzle section here. That orb was allowing us to step on the sort of ghosty platforms. Without it, they are invisible. So we needed it to get to here and put it in a pedestal. Quick cutscene, and everything will look a little better.
Yeah, the room's a little bit dark now, but we're just gonna turn the lights on. See it in its glory.
How many Oris does it take to turn a light bulb?
It is still called Blackroot Burrows, despite how bright it is now.
And this is some people's favorite ability. The ability to dash, or the skill to dash. Apologies when I get that wrong, they're just so interchangeable.
Well, we all get it wrong from time to time.
And that's the last we're going to see of Blackroot Burrows. Popped in there to get a skill, lets us go quickly and move on.
Yep, and here we're going to get Charge Flame. This is a skill that will allow us to break blue walls with our 1 energy that we have. There are more opportunities to have gotten energy so far, but again, due to the restrictions of this category, it's not only 0 XP, it is we are not going to be collecting any health or energy cells. So we're just going to have to use this 1 energy and all of the various energy pickups to the best of our abilities.
Oh, he's friendly.
Yeah.
But to put into perspective, you can have more than 10 HP and 10 energy by the end of the game. So really only having 3 and 1 is quite the handicap. Especially when the 1 energy, of course, gets used between saving and sometimes clearing obstacles. And just like that, we got Charge Flame, so the game is sort of giving us the tutorial on how to use it by making the obstacles. You just have to use it to get through them. Some good movement to get over the river there. And will he go for Iceless?
Nope. I mean, there is no ice up here, but... I'm going to be activating this Spirit Wall so I could use it later to teleport back up here.
Yeah, so you saw he had to pull the rock out there. That rock is very slow, and normally you would have to push it both in and out, so you can use it right here to jump upwards. But with Dash, we can shrink our hitbox just a little bit, and that lets us squeeze between the rock and the hard surface. And caught a little glimpse of our buddy Gumo. We'll be seeing him and chasing him down. He's got the water vein, which we need to hop into Ginso Tree a little bit later.
Yep.
Here we have a bit of a puzzle, just sort of linking it in your mind that pink bullets destroy pink walls, and of course pink logs. That fact may or may not help us a little bit later. Oh, goodness.
I went to go save there to refill my energy and health so that I could have 1 energy when I come down here into the lower area of Grotto. There's going to be a mini boss here and then I'm going to use Charge Flame on.
Yep, we chased Gumo down here. He left a trap for us by knocking down the bridge. And so we need to find our way out. And here he is, calling for help.
I just want All right. Made a little bit of a mistake there, but I'm actually just going to die here so that I don't have to... so I can use the energy to charge flame this boss.
Yeah, we really want to do a quick kill here. And it requires 2 energy, so it takes the energy we have as well as the energy up top.
Yeah, and you want to kill it so that the XP falls down just like that. Doesn't fall where you are.
Yeah, right after you kill that boss, the game locks you in place. It's just to show you that the world is changing. That boss door opened once you defeated him, and that XP doesn't stop. So you're stuck, the XP moves, and if it touches you, that's no good. And the game saves right after the door finishes opening, too. So if you don't notice, well, you get locked in with some XP.
Yep, and then coming down to this area, we're going to get double jump, which is a really nice movement skill. It'll allow us to go vertically a lot faster than we were before.
Yeah, zipping through the corridor right to the tree. Give us our next skill, double jump.
Yep, people that have played this game before, you might remember Moon Grotto. There's an entire section to the left of here that you would typically go to. But as I go back to the kind of center area, we're actually just going to skip that, because with some nicely timed double jumps, you can actually just skip.
Grotto walls are very forgiving.
I am, however, at 1 health, so I am going to end up saving while we go into this rockfall section.
You can load a previous save, Natural Born. This game does have a backup system, but that would lose you quite a bit of time, because it's not every save that gets backed up. So it's a bit of a gamble and hoping where it puts you.
So here we see a little bit of the lore of the game. If you haven't played it, it means nothing to you, but we're going to be getting our first dungeon key here for us to allow us to enter the Ginso tree, which is the water vein.
Yeah, he threw rocks at us. We pulled him out from under a rock, and he feels like we're nicer than he first thought we were. So he gives us the water vein as a sort of a peace offering.
And we'll gladly take it, because we're going to be entering one of the nicer areas of the game. There's going to be a vertical ascent in this tree, along with some pretty good music. Even though, we've actually heard some pretty good music already.
Oh, yeah. Ginso Tree is an excellent area. If the caverns earlier taught us how to use wall jump, then this is the dungeon devoted to the art of climbing vertically using double jump. And later, another skill that we'll get. Arguably, another one of the best skills in the game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a bit. These first couple rooms are pretty straightforward. Kind of just double jump through them.
Yeah, dash lets us go really fast in a straight line. And having the ability to go quickly vertically is also very desirable. So double jump's our first step in that direction. Another thing to mention, as we go through the game, enemies and obstacles will do more damage. At the moment, most spikes and enemies will do only 1 damage. Nice skip. But later on, they will do 2, 3, and even 4 damage. 4 is a number that's too big for us. 3 is enough. 3 is sort of the end, so we don't have to count that high.
Alright, so I took a death in that mini-boss after I didn't get the charge flame to redirect its shot initially. And then on the second try, worked a little bit better.
Yeah, using the enemy's powers against them is actually a very strong way to deal damage. And here we've got some portal puzzles to sort of teach us that going through a portal does refresh your double jump.
Yep, and since we've played this game a few times before, we kind of know where the portals will lead us. Going to this tree, this is going to give us probably one of the more unique skills in this game, the one that people probably remember the most. It's Bash. It allows you to propel yourself in one direction, and then whatever you're bashing in the opposite direction.
Yeah, Bash is such a good skill. It lets you do a huge variety of different movements. So we were going to take the most advantage of it to shave time here, there, everywhere. Spike wall, we'll jump up it.
Yep, and then we're just going to collect these keystones here.
Just like the previous skill trees, right after you get it, the game gives you a little bit of a tutorial area to run through that emphasizes that skill.
There are going to be 2 rooms in the top of the Ginso tree here. And there are some puzzles in this. You're supposed to be able to use these redirectors to get this shot all the way up to the top of the room. But we don't need those.
Yeah, you did have a run not long ago where you ignored every single redirector.
Yeah.
And just went straight to the door. So we just need that shot to break the log there.
Yep. We also need to we also need to maybe not go into the spikes.
Showing that this challenge is indeed quite difficult.
Yeah. And you know, some say that nerves don't happen. Maybe they do. Just a little bit.
I would say I have nerves all throughout my body.
Yeah, that's true.
So there we got one half of the spiky, goopy mess cleaned off there. So we just got to clear this other side here. We're going to use a frog projectile. The game expects you to use the spider on the left side of the room to do that, but we can just push the frog up top and he's glad to help out.
Yep, and then coming into the middle section of this here, we're going to be entering the Ginso escape, one of the more notable parts of this game. This is the first escape sequence in the game, out of 3, which we'll be seeing all of today. This also has some very good music. Shoutouts to Gareth Coker for this wonderful soundtrack that we have.
Yeah, this escape is incredible. You tend to die a lot on it, your casual playthrough, but that just lets you listen to it for so much longer.
Yeah, the joke's on us. When we speedrun this, we don't get to hear it as often, which is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, and some categories even skip the Ginso escape, which is a tragedy. But yeah, it's all in the name of speed, so
And keen-eyed people out there saw me turn on my UI. So I want my UI on actually right now, so that I could have this text box here. And then I'm going to turn my UI off right after, so that I'm not standing here for like 10 or 15 seconds just staring at the sky. One of the few times that I actually want my UI on.
Yeah, or he does something weird if you skip that particular cutscene. He just stares there for a couple seconds, and it also skips you walking over to the water side. So we want it on just for a moment, so it doesn't do that particular motion.
All right, and here's some planning for later. I'm gonna charge flame the water out of this section, so that when I leave the swamp area, I won't have to come this way to drain the water.
Yeah, the game doesn't necessarily expect you to notice that's there at first. It'll give us the next ability, which is required to leave, and you'll come across a conundrum where the thing you need to break is underwater, and you can't do it underwater. So we lowered the water there first, so that we don't have to come back swimming later.
Yep. And when you say you can't do it underwater, you could, but for the intents of this category, you cannot.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things you can't do underwater. For the most part, in Ori, it takes a little bit of effort to break what the game expects you to do. Gonna do a little skip here. Just hop from platform to platform instead of going the long way.
Yep, and as you leave the stomp tree area, people might remember that you would go to the right and you would kill like a rhino, but we just did that damage boost there, as you saw.
Yeah, fight a mini boss or donate 2 life to the spikes. It's a pretty straightforward answer. So here's a really good movement. Coming through this corridor, we're gonna dash and bash off a bunch of different enemies. It feels really good to nail that.
Might have teleported a little bit off there. So actually, that's a good chance for me to mention that I run on controller. The significant majority of speedrunners of Ori play this on keyboard and mouse, but I prefer controller. I'm running this on a Scuff Impact right now, which is basically a DualShock 4 controller. But I prefer controller, and unless you're running this game at the highest level, it doesn't particularly matter if you use controller or keyboard mouse. Keyboard mouse is definitely faster, and for things like bashes, you are a lot more precise with that. But yeah, so when I teleport, I use the directional buttons to pick a spot. If you had a mouse, you could obviously just place your mouse where you want to teleport.
But for the most part, controller works just fine.
Yeah.
So we can see
speedrunning doesn't have to be about, like getting the fastest times or whatever. It's just about having fun.
Exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, we all want to enjoy ourselves. Oh my goodness. That shot was very close to the spike there.
Alright, so now that we're in this cutscene, we're going to be getting a skill called Glide or Feather, and then we're going to be entering the Misty Woods, which is actually a pretty straightforward area. Even though you can't really... In the game, it's not, be very straightforward. It's supposed to be kind of confusing because there's no map visible.
Yeah, Misty is an area designed to confuse you a little bit, as you'll see. Things are going to be a little wavy compared to the other areas. It just sort of adds to the mystery as you're going through. But the game has told us to come here to pick up a key so that we can release the wind, and so off we go. And here we have another sort of tutorial. Even gives us the little words at the top telling us how we can use Feather to delay our fall, and then we can bash the shots to gain height to pass through. Another fun fact, all the spikes here, we're now far enough into the game, they do 3 damage. So, 1 touch.
Yep. We want to very carefully avoid hugging any of these spikes, because they are not the friendly spikes that we want to hug, or at least most of them aren't.
There are actually places, there are so many spikes that there are friendly spikes around here and there. And you'd be very happy to find one.
Yeah. And now, getting to the climb tree, we're going to be going through the rest of Misty with this newfound skill. In other categories of this game, you might have charge jump in this area. We do not. But that doesn't mean we have to do all these puzzles the intended way.
Yeah, and you saw Richard gloss over it, but he did just use a frog shot to break a platform from beneath. That is a nice way to skip some of the area later. Oh, that Frankie, he wanted to hug the spikes.
Yep. So there's a puzzle here. We didn't actually need to do it if I kept that Frankie alive. Frankie, by the way, is a portmanteau of frog and monkey, which is kind of what those enemies look like. But, yeah. We're just gonna make sure that we don't die. Because really, the biggest time loss you could have is dying. And that's what we want to avoid.
So we just went through a laser puzzle there. Lasers do infinite damage. That's even higher than 4. There are a few things in the game that do infinite damage, which is a little bit scary, but...
You might have heard that gasp, while I was doing nothing, and then you probably saw it happen. There is a little bit of delay, but that's okay. Delay happens on these hotfix events.
I mean, there's probably thousands of spikes, so
yeah,
there's definitely time to go visit a couple of them along the way.
Speaking of hotfix events, there are some pretty cool ones coming up. Like tomorrow, if you like Ori, so we're actually going to have more Ori on hotfix tomorrow. And if any of you watched the previous run with Auth for Bubsy, we're actually going to have more Bubsy. So every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, we have Tree Fort, which is always some different kind of topic of game. And yeah, so it's really cool. Be sure to check out all the different hotfix shows that we have going on in between events.
So upcoming here is a really tight platforming section. Really got to be careful to avoid all these spikes.
There is a right section in that part of Misty, but we're just not going to go to it.
Yep, convenient. Frankie just some bashes to get over the top. It is interesting how much of the game we do skip.
I might be having a couple mistakes here with this mini boss. We want to try to get those shots in and bash the mini boss, and then avoid the XP, obviously, because those orbs are very poisonous. You can see at the bottom of the screen here, there's a 0 with a not very orange orb. If that becomes any more orange, we don't want that to happen in this category.
Yeah, that's our indicator of how much EXP and levels that we have. 0 is the number of levels, and the darkened bar around it is how much EXP, or the percentage to the next level. And so those two slime bosses drop spitter bosses drop a whole lot of XP. Oh boy.
Alright, so we need to do some precise jumps here.
Oh my goodness.
Just gotta be a little bit careful. I only had 1 health left there, so I didn't want to get hit another time, and fortunately we didn't get hit another time. So
yeah, those slime projectiles that it shoots off create obstacles on the ground, and this game has a unique feature where there's foreground, and it can block your vision in some cases. So Richard couldn't actually see where the obstacles were, so to speak. Just had to jump and kind of hope.
Yep, and getting the Gumon seal here, taking a little bit of a death there, but luckily the game saves us right there as we go into the Forlorn Ruins.
Yeah, one of the saving graces of this category is the fact that the game is kind. There are quite a few cutscenes that it will go through, and a good number of them do save your game right afterwards. So it means we don't have to spend energy at that particular moment.
Alright, oops, that Baneling fell. A little bit wrong way. By the way, for anyone that's familiar with StarCraft, we call those Banelings, but I don't think that's actually what they're called in this game. But everyone calls them Banelings, because they do exactly what Banelings from StarCraft 2 do.
I mean, they're the right color.
They have centrifugal hooks, and they blow up and deal a bunch of damage. So, you know, I think that fits the bill pretty perfectly.
Yeah, so Richard just stomped the door from the right and destroyed it. Normally we'd have to push a lever for that door, but a lot of the obstacles are stompable that are normally if you need to go through them, but only from the right side. There's just a little lip that the game allows you to hit to destroy them.
Yep. For people that have played this game before, in Forlorn Ruins, this orb allows you to basically ignore the rules of gravity, and you can go off to the side walls. We're going to skip this first part by taking death, so that we can kind of just climb our way up that first wall.
Come on, man, gravity rules. See, we get to walk sideways, upside down. It's awesome.
It is pretty cool. So what we want to do here is collect all of the keystones so that we can open up a keystone door. There are some platforms here that I really don't want to carry the orb for. Carrying the orb's pretty slow, so I'm going to jump over that.
Yeah, all these red platforms do damage to you without the orb. Some of them just do a little bit of damage, 1 or 2, and the larger ones that you'll see floating above do the most damage. Enough to send you back to your save. Now we get to do some pretty cool parkour.
Yeah, and so I saved an energy so I can get into this last section and save right here. Also, fortunately for me, there's no webcam on here. What I do in this section is I actually tilt my head to how Ori is oriented so that I can more easily see where Ori is supposed to go. Looks awkward for people, but it makes my life easier, because then I can kind of see.
Well, it definitely helps to sort of turn your head so everything is upright.
It gives you a good perspective on things.
Richard could be doing a handstand. It is possible. But he is using a controller, so that would be tough.
It'd be really impressive.
So we're heading deeper into Forlorn Ruins here, and Gumo's gotten a little bit of interest in us, so he's gonna sort of tag along. We chased him earlier in the game, so now he's doing the same.
Back in the home of the Gumon, if anyone saw the entrance of this area, there were a couple frozen Gumon, as you can see here actually. Get your tissues ready. It's okay. It'll be okay, Gumo.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a sad moment. Seeing what became of the people here, the Gumon. Yeah, one unique aspect of this area is the fact that things can float. There's a lot of different surfaces that are just hanging in midair.
Yep, like these rocks. These rocks are floating.
These rocks are great because they wiggle when they float.
Can you believe the power of the wind is keeping them stay afloat like this? Alright, actually, so this is actually a good time to mention, because this is actually the speedrun Discord icon. So there's an Ori speedrunning Discord where this is the icon for it. If anyone's interested in learning this game, there are a bunch of different categories. 0xP doesn't have the most resources for it, but there is a category called All Skills, which there is a large amount of information about it available. If you're interested in this as a game, this is a speedrun. If you're not interested in the speedrun, there's actually an official Ori Discord as well. So feel free to check that out, especially with the sequel coming out February 11th.
Yeah, the sequel is going to be great, and when it comes to the speedruns, I would like more people to give 0xP a shot, so I'm happy to help. If you have questions, you can always send me a message or join the Ori Discord and shoot a question off in the area for that as well.
Yeah, Baron's been very helpful, even in just the last week or two. Giving me some tips, some strats.
Yeah, the D-Rust for you is pretty long.
Yep.
But it was so long that you PB'd a couple times, so
yeah,
some good stuff.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Showrunner Showcase, wonderful music edition. As we had that wonderful escape music here as we finish up the Forlorn Ruins.
Yeah, we just found an egg.
Yep, that egg, we skipped a cutscene. We actually didn't want to watch the cutscene. It was too emotional for us. So, for reasons explained in that cutscene, if you play the game, you can find out. Kuro, the bird here, kind of wants to chase us, but we're going to be kind of stealthy.
Yeah, we're gonna meet Kuro a couple times. We already have once. We bopped her on the head with a rock. So she definitely doesn't like us, but we're gonna keep trying to become her friend.
There's 1 XP there. We will just avoid it so that we can go up and around. Dash through this stealthy section. So a note about this game, again, this is the Definitive Edition is kind of like the second version of this, where you weren't designed to have dash in that section, but you could just dash through that area. Now that you do have dash.
And it's quite common. There are a lot of people who will miss the 2 bonus skills that are in the Definitive Edition on their first playthrough. It's just in an area it's not out of the way. You saw where Blackreed Burrows was, but it's just very missable where it's been placed. So, and there's a bunch of different obstacles that we could have used to hide, but with dash we can just zoom right through.
Yep, and we're gonna go into Sorrow Pass here now that we've got Wind Restored, which is the event that we got finishing the Forlorn Ruins.
Yeah, wind really helps us out because it synergizes with the feather to let us just go straight upwards wherever it is in the world. Got some more lasers. Luckily they turn on and off, so we'll just go through when they're off.
Yeah, Sorrow Pass has a lot of laser sections in it that kill you instantly. So if anyone's ever tried a 1 life run, you might have died in Sorrow Pass a few times.
Yeah, 1 life can definitely be pretty challenging. Take a little bit of a detour there to get more energy. Just only having 1 energy, we want to play it safe sometimes. Here we have a rock puzzle. We're going to use the rock to block the lasers so that we don't have to walk through them ourselves and get melted. But we're going to do it in a little bit of an unintended way. Normally you just push the rock up on top of those 2 steps to block this laser, but we can actually bash and double jump and glide to get it up top here. Oh boy.
As you saw there, the tumbleweed disappeared along with that XP. That happens sometimes. So we're just gonna come back here and we'll do it again. And we're gonna not have the tumbleweed disappear with the XP this time.
Yeah, the tumbleweed was unhappy with the number of bashes you performed on it, so
that's correct.
It decided it had a life bar as well.
So I grabbed this energy so I could save. I want to save a little bit later, which is why I didn't save right here, which is where I could save. But I'm actually just going to save here this time. Just in case that happens again.
So once again, juggling our way to victory here. And we're going to be using the rock to block the laser from the top here. We can just hop over to the other side. And we'll actually bring the rock with us. Take it on an adventure.
Yep. got a little bit stuck there. That's okay. So at the top of this is where I normally would safety save. But again, since the tumbleweed disappeared, I had a safety save further back. So if I end up dying here, I'm gonna go a little bit further back.
Yeah, the spikes in Sorrow do more than 3 damage.
They deal 4 damage, in fact.
Well, 4 is greater than 3. So I'm not sure what we can do with that. No, we actually call the area up above the nachos. There's just a lot of spikes, and the shape makes you think of nachos.
Triangular.
Gets you hungry. Oh yeah.
Get some queso.
You just kick back and enjoy.
Alright, getting through that section, we're going to put these keystones in this door right here. And then we're going to get this skill.
There we go, nice and through. We're going to pick up our final skill. This one's called Charge Jump. It'll allow us to break barriers when we boost off of the ground vertically. Extremely useful in conjunction with some of the other skills. But we're actually coming back here. We brought the rock with us because you can actually stand on the rock. And along with that, you can charge jump off of the rock, which instead of going around a whole puzzle area, we just break through the bottom wall and head straight to the top.
And here we're gonna get our final dungeon key. This is gonna be the Sunstone. You can see that it is a stone, and above us is the sun. So, hence the Sunstone.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to jump off the top of the mountain here. The game smites you with lightning for reasons.
Yep. If anyone wants to look at this cutscene, there's a cutscene you don't really see in any other category, since we typically skip this cutscene. There we go. Guma with an affinity for orbs, getting that orb, and going over to Naru here, who we haven't really seen much this game.
I mean,
or at all.
Orbs are popular in 2019 for sure.
And now they're looking out into the world of Nibel.
Yeah, that mountain didn't look so fiery before.
Yeah.
Might need to do something about it.
You want to check it out? I think I want to check it out.
I think it's a good time to go investigate. And you can see it in the background there. It looks beautiful. So the nice thing about Sorrow Pass is it's got that really straight line up and down, so it's really fast to exit out. And we're going to pop down to our Valley Teleporter here and take a quick move over to Swamp, which is the closest portal we have to get to Horde.
Yep.
So there we have a rare sighting of an ability cell. We're not allowed to pick those up.
And then I'm going to save here, and I actually took a couple damage, so I just opted to die there, because I kind of want 3 health. Free health not necessary. as I go into Mount Horu, but it's nice to have. Gives you a little bit of a padding against some of the things that could happen to you.
Yeah, so we actually had a green wall there. Normally you'd use a Baneling, the rolly guys, to break those. But as before, since we were on the right side of that wall, we were able to stomp and destroy it.
Yep. Coming into Mount Horu. Now, in this category, one of the draws of this category is you get to do all the different rooms in Mount Horu. Whereas in some other categories, you might only do one or none of them.
Yeah, most of the categories you get to see about 5% of Horu. This one, you get to see 100% of it. Of course, all dungeons does want you to explore Horu pretty much as well. A whole lot of bashing to get us up here quickly. And so a lot of different obstacles. We have lava on the ground that you don't want to touch. You got your lasers that you definitely don't want to touch. You've got your shots from the elementals, which we use to bash. I don't believe... I think they do take you out in one hit. There are a few things inside Mount Horu that do only 1 damage. So there is a little bit of leniency that the game gives. We can't skip any of Horu due to the rule set for this. Selected restrictions forbids us from using the trick called Door Warp to enter a door on the very first frame that you would see it. For some reason, it sends you to a different location on that frame compared to all the rest.
And here we see Gumo. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make this this pass from this section.
Yeah, this is like a bridge moment when just a rock falls and someone has to run to one side and the other person makes it across the bridge and they're just like, good luck.
And so now we're going to be stopping the lava flow in this first right side room. So the way that this dungeon's designed, you're supposed to stop the lava from top to bottom. There are 4 rooms on each side. So what we're going to do is do both of the top ones, then go to the next ones below. And we're going to do kind of a snaking pattern for the rooms. So go like back and forth.
Yeah, Horror is really interesting because each time you lower the lava level, the rooms do change a little bit with that lava being drained. And as we get to the bottom, the final 2 rooms where we need to drain lava, the lava in the central area will actually change as well, opening up a new area for us. And each of the rooms tests you in different ways. Here we have sort of a fight room with a bunch of elementals. There's no solid ground to land on, so we really have to use the elemental shots themselves to propel us through the room and to take them all out.
Just gonna avoid this XP here.
Oh! Yeah, you were standing on a spike there.
Ah, nothing hurts you in this game. You only need 3 health.
And we do share responsibility with our floating orb friend, Sign. Sometimes Sign will bring down the rocks to lower the flow, and sometimes we'll use Stomp to push those rocks down and block the lava from continuing. It's all
Coming
about
in.
teamwork.
Yep. Coming in the next room here. There's a spinny laser thing that we don't want to activate. So there's a stompable thing in the bottom left of this room. We're going to not stomp that thing. We're just going to stomp this block over.
Yeah, this room's really interesting because normally you would stomp that block, which would make the laser spin. That would break the ground, but we can instead break the ground using our own stomp. Same with the wall on the left, and then we can just push the rock where we need it to go. The slime does get in the way, so we baited him into the lava bath so he could have a good time. That was a stomp.
Yep. Just gives us some more time to enjoy this wonderful game.
Yeah, if you've never seen Ori and the Blind Forest before, it's a gorgeous game. Absolutely recommend giving it a try. I believe it's $20 on Steam.
Yep. Sometimes it's on sale.
Yeah, I definitely expect it to go on sale during the holiday, or if not then, during the release of the sequel, Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah. 2 months and 4 days, right?
And not long.
Oh, I mean...
So we're just about halfway through with Horu now. Quick safety save to protect ourselves in case of the worst. Because remember, a lot of things do 3 damage, which is all of our life.
Yeah, and, you know, here we're going through this nice lava elevator.
This is very relaxing.
Yeah. Relaxing.
You just have to swap sides, or you get burned. So. That is unusual for the rock to get stuck on its side like that.
Yeah. Doesn't typically happen to me.
It usually like topples over, and if you're on top of it, it gives you this very awkward momentum, but you stick on the rock.
Alright, so coming up here, we're going to be going into the easiest room in the game. It's called R4.
Alright, I'm noting those words.
So here you're supposed to go over to the right side, but we just need to bash a shot. Maybe.
He's being a little bit stingy. So we're
I
gonna.
jinxed myself by saying it was the easiest room in the game.
I think you did good. Richard is playing with a controller.
I am in fact playing with a controller. I actually tried playing this game with keyboard mouse before, and I realized I couldn't do any of the movement. So, yeah, I decided to stick with mostly controller.
I mean, some games it's just like that, because even though I play Ori with a keyboard, there are other games I play with a controller. And I have a feeling if I tried to use keyboard on those, it would not have too much success at first. So this room's a little bit of a trap. We went over to the left and stomped a peg down, which you would think would lower the lava, but instead the lava chases you down. And once it finishes its motion, it breaks the floor and lets us go to the actual peg to stop the lava from flowing. And you can see there in the main room, the lava has finally descended all the way down, and we're able to go below to the heart of the volcano. But not before we fight the final boss.
Yeah, and in case you didn't see it the first time, this is how we move out to get there.
The final boss can be difficult. There we go.
Yeah, and going into the final escape, this is the last escape sequence. It has wonderful music. And we just need to run away from a bird that doesn't want us to be here.
I gotta say, the creatures in the forest have very good tracking abilities to find you.
Yeah, Ori, if nobody pays attention to the lore, Ori is a leaf creature, so, you know, if you try to go into your backyard, try to find one specific leaf,
You're gonna have a hard time, especially because
it'll
it's
be a little
fall.
bit hard. Yeah.
Well, actually it's winter now, but all the leaves are taking their time to fall this season. Yeah, each of these sections you have a time limit before Kuro will come in and just snatch you from the screen itself.
Yep, and so here we are at the end of the game. I'm just going to need to hold right for a little bit. So time on this game is when your own final input, and so I basically had to hold right here, but there's not much else that I need to do.
Yeah,
so,
we're gonna
yeah.
see our final cutscene where we're motivated to finish our journey back to the spirit tree.
Yeah, and while we close this out, just a couple of shout outs. Again, the Ori Discord is a very welcoming place. So if you're interested in running this game, if you go to speedrun.com/Ori_DE, you can probably find that resource. And yeah, it's a fun game. I played a lot of it. Brand's played a lot of it. There are plenty of people that are always ready and willing to help out.
Yeah, if you're looking for a new experience, Ori is an absolute jewel of a game.
Yep, and so about 7-ish more seconds for the last input here. There's a big tree and time.
Good job, Richard.
Thank you, Baron. All right, well, we listened to some of this music as we close out. Again, this was the Showrunner Showcase. This happens the first of every month. This is one of the recurring shows that happens on GDQ Hotfix. So besides AGDQ, which is going to be happening in 1 month, actually, we have a lot of shows in the meantime, and then even after that event's done, we have many weekly shows. So, for example, tomorrow there's Tree Fort. Every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, there is a theme that runners will be running games with. And tomorrow's theme is Cozy. So it'll be Club Cozy, and that's going to be Bubsy and this game. So actually for Ori, it's going to be Signless, Bashless, Stompless by Meldon Tarragon, and they are going to be doing a lot of different things from what we just did. So be sure to tune in if you're interested in that. On Monday, we're going to have the Community Spotlight at 8 p.m., and that's going to be Hollow Knight. Thursday is the first step, where it's kind of an introductory kind of show to speedrunning. If you're interested in, learning about how speedrunners that are very experienced in games, we're going to have Hobbs and Keys play Cat Quest 2 semi-blind there. And in terms of AGDQ, offsite volunteer submissions are open for the next week for that. So go to gamesdonequick.com for more info on that. And if anyone is interested in our Frame Fatales marathon, game submissions will be opening for that next week on December 15th. So keep an eye out on gamesdonequick.com/hotfix for info on that and all the different shows that we have on Hotfix. So yeah, that's basically it. This is great music. I love the end music of this game. I've listened to it quite a bunch. But yeah, if you're interested in this game, go check it out. And thank you everyone for watching. Have a good one.